Deepest, Darkest Secret, Chapter 28. Morning comes quickly for Troy and Sophia. They take turns using the bathroom to get dressed and ready for the day. Troy has become used to the crutches by now and can do everything without assistance. He dresses in his uniform but doesn't put his badge on or attach his service pistol to his belt. He hopes the Thompsons don't notice those little details. Technically, he's on medical leave and isn't supposed to be investigating. They make their way to DCFS in silence, each one lost in their own thoughts. The parking lot is empty when they arrive, and Sophia sends up a quick thank you to God for the Thompsons not beating them there. She settles herself in her office, but directs Troy to the break room. She doesn't want to be seen with him. Thankfully, the Thompsons don't have to walk in front of her office with her name on the door to get to Danielle's office. She called Danielle this morning and explained that she felt she may have gotten too emotionally involved with Luke. Danielle thanked her for her honesty and agreed to take over the case. When Danielle arrives, she finds Troy in the break room. With a subtle jerk of her head, he stands and they move to her office to wait for Mr. and Mrs. Thompson. Troy catches her up on how they found Luke's grandparents. As promised, the Thompsons are there at 8 o'clock sharp, just as the workday begins. Troy shakes their hands and introduces Danielle as Luke's caseworker. They take seats before Troy begins. His first impression is that they look like nice folks, in their early 50s, hair turning gray. Mrs. Thompson is in a pair of slacks with a green blouse. Mr. Thompson is wearing jeans and a black Harley-Davidson t-shirt. Troy can see the bottom of a tattoo peeking out from under his right sleeve, but he can't make out exactly what it is. Mr. and Mrs. Thompson, first, thank you for driving down. I'm sure this has been hard for you. Danielle and I need to figure out what happened, how we all ended up where we are today. Mrs. Thompson nods. I can tell you we want to know the same thing, officer. Have you been able to reach your son? He asks them. No, answers Mrs. Thompson. Our calls go straight to voicemail. Yes, ma'am, I know what you mean. I tried to reach him as well with the same result. Is this something that is usual for Daniel? Has he taken Jason on trips before and had no contact for weeks? Not at all, Mrs. Thompson answers. This is the first time Daniel showed any initiative towards spending time with Jason on his own. And Daniel always takes my calls. But it's like his phone isn't even on. You know how it won't even ring if it's turned off? Did you not think it odd that you hadn't heard from them for weeks? Mr. Thompson is the one who answers. Tiffany was worried, but I told her the boys must be having a good time. They'd call eventually. Guess I should have been more concerned. Who legally has custody of Jason, you or your son? Legally, Daniel does. He and the boy's mother were quite young when she got pregnant. Girls these days just don't seem to understand the possible consequences of their actions. She didn't want him, knew she couldn't take care of him, so Daniel stepped up and has been raising Jason since birth. We knew it wouldn't be easy on him, since he was just 19 when Jason was born. So we offered to let them live with us. Jason thinks Daniel is his brother, and Tiffany and I fill the role of parents. We thought it would be best that way. I see, says Troy, trying to hide his frustration, knowing that the story Sophia told doesn't match up with theirs. Maybe he's only known her for a couple of weeks, but he suspects her version is a little more accurate than theirs. I'm confused on how you say Daniel has been raising him, but Jason thinks you're his parents. Oh, well, he just means Daniel has been there for him. A child can't exactly raise a child, now can he? Mrs. Thompson says. Troy knows a few young couples in Prairie Low who have done just fine raising their children, and they were younger than Daniel. It sounds like they're making excuses for him. Can you tell me about the scars? Troy asks, changing the subject. What scars? Asks Mr. Thompson. Danielle pulls out pictures from Luke's file and passes them over to the Thompsons. When Jason was found, he had scars along his arms that looked like cigarette burns. Do either of you smoke? The Thompsons take the pictures and flip through them. Mrs. Thompson puts her hand to her mouth and gasps. He didn't have those when he left our house 4 weeks ago. We both smoked years ago, but quit long before Jason was born. What about Daniel? Is he a smoker? Daniel smoked for a few years after Jason was born, but he quit 2 years ago. Do you know the address of the condo your son rented? We'd like to pass by and see if we can locate him. I looked that up after we talked last night, officer, Mr. Thompson informs him. I thought Tiffany and I might try to find it. Find Daniel. Here you go. He hands Troy a piece of paper with an address. Troy recognizes it as a condo on the lake, just as they said, but not the kind of condo he'd suggest someone with a 7-year-old rent for a vacation. This is in the middle of a very poor neighborhood. There have been quite a few drug raids and reports of gunshots from the surrounding buildings in the past. Thank you. I'll have someone from the department try to locate Daniel there. I don't think it would be wise for you to go to this neighborhood and look for him on your own. These condos used to be a great place to vacation, but as the owners started getting older, some of them decided they didn't want the hassle of vacation rentals, so they decided to rent them out full time. Unfortunately, the quality of tenants has decreased over the years. There are a few vacation rentals still hanging on, but this isn't the best area of town now. That's awful. How is Daniel supposed to know that, though? What happens to Jason now? Asked Mrs. Thompson. Can we take him home? A little research and reading reviews probably would have given him some clue about the type of neighborhood he was getting into, Troy thought. He probably saw the cheap price and figured they could stay longer if they paid less per night. Since you're not Jason's legal guardians, and we only have one side of the story regarding the apparent abuse, I am unable to release him to you yet. Again, I promise he is in a safe and happy environment. Once we locate Daniel, we will let you know how we will proceed. Mr. Thompson stands up from his chair so quickly that he knocks it over. His face turns bright red, and he screams angrily at Troy. That is unacceptable. Jason is our grandchild. We have every right to take him home with us. With every bit of composure he can muster, Troy responds. Mr. Thompson, it would be in your best interest if you calm down, sir. Despite the fact that Jason was not removed from the home, we have found enough evidence of abuse to continue to have him stay in the foster care system until we can determine the abuser. Your anger does not help your case. Mrs. Thompson puts her hand on her husband's arm. Sit down, Mike. The officer's just trying to do his job. She turns her attention to Troy. Mike would never hurt Jason. Ask him yourself. I wish I could, ma'am, but currently Jason is not speaking to anyone. What do you mean? She questions. Exactly what I said. I'm the one who found your grandson wandering the streets of Prelo. He refused to answer any of my questions. His name, his parents' names, where he lived. You would have known about this much sooner if he had given me any information. In the 2 weeks he has been in the foster care system, Jason has not spoken a single word to anyone. Do you recall I called him Luke? That's because until yesterday, we didn't even know his name. Mr. and Mrs. Thompson look at each other in shock. What happened to my baby? Mrs. Thompson wails. That's what I intend to find out when I find your son. As soon as we have more information, we'll be in contact with you. Troy dismisses the Thompsons and waits for them to leave the building. He thanks Danielle for being willing to stand in for Sophia and leaves her office. In Sophia's office, he fills her in on the discussions he had with the Thompsons. He leaves out their negative opinion of her, but gives her the rest. Do you think those scars could be that recent? She asked Troy. I'm no medical expert, but if they happened soon after Daniel and Jason got to Prelo, I think they could have. It's been a few weeks since they arrived. What now? She asks. I'm going to have Officer Williams check out this condo. If they were going on a 4-week vacation, that time is about up if my calculations are right. We might need to contact the owner to see if we can gain access if Officer Williams can't get Daniel to let him in. We're going to get to the bottom of this, Sophia. I promise. Before they head back to Cindy's, they stop at the local cell phone company store to get Troy a new phone. Thankfully, his information was stored in the cloud, so they are able to download all his contacts and photos to his new device. On the drive home, Troy's phone rings. It's Officer Williams. Hey, Thomas, that was quick. What'd you find out? Troy falls silent for what feels like an eternity to Sophia. The only thing she gets from his side of the conversation is, uh-huh, or yep, or I see. She's growing quite frustrated. As soon as he hangs up the phone, she riddles him with questions. Did he find Daniel? What did he have to say for himself? Are they arresting him? Sophia, maybe you ought to pull over so we can talk. Just tell me what's going on, Troy. I can take it. Troy sighs. Sophia, Daniel's dead. Sophia slams on the brakes so hard, Troy lurches forward. The seatbelt keeps his head from slamming into the dashboard. She is stopped in the middle of the street. Cars are swerving, honking their horns, but she ignores them. She just stares at Troy beside her, not wanting to comprehend what he just said. He's dead? Honey, this is dangerous. Please pull over into that parking lot. She shakes her head, shaking herself out of the shock, and looks around. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Yes, that's probably a good idea. After parking near the entrance of the lot, Sophia turns in her seat to look at Troy while he talks. As they sit in the parking lot, Troy recounts the story Officer Williams told him. This isn't pretty, honey. Are you sure you're prepared to hear it? I have to know, Troy. Please. All right. When Officer Williams pulled up to the condo, he noticed immediately that the front door was wide open. He entered the home and found it to be completely ransacked. In the main room, he found drug paraphernalia littering the floor. He also noticed the very identifiable smell of death. Once he completed his search downstairs, he went upstairs. There, in one of the bedrooms, he found a man in a puddle of vomit lying on one of the beds. The man was fully clothed, and his wallet was open on the floor a few feet away from the bed. The body was cold, and it started to bloat and decompose. Best guess is that Daniel died 3 or 4 days ago. Officer Williams identified Daniel from his driver's license. So, there's no doubt about his identity. Troy shakes his head. None whatsoever. The crime scene investigators took his fingerprints, but that's all a formality. Thomas said he was certain. There was no money in his wallet. His credit cards were there, so if the money was stolen, then the thief didn't want to deal with the paper trail of the cards. While Thomas was looking around the bedroom where Daniel was found, he heard moans coming from one of the other rooms. Upon inspection, he found another male in the bathroom, vomiting, needles still hanging from his arm. He's been identified as Gary Smith. He's been taken to the hospital and will be kept under police protection for the time being. Just another story to unravel, Sophia says. Did this Gary character say anything about the burn marks on Luke's arm? Does he know how they got there? Does he know anything at all about Luke? Not yet. He's not really in a state to question right now. We'll get there. If Daniel died only a few days ago, we still need to know why Luke wasn't there. He was found here before that happened. What about notifying next of kin? Are you responsible for calling Daniel's parents? No, Thomas will take care of that. I've been specifically told to stay away from the hospital and let them handle the case, since I'm technically on medical leave. But Thomas will let you know what's going on, right? He better.